I drink too much, I smoke too much. Sparks in there somewhere. This is the funny thing, like, what if everybody was our friend? What if instead of we tried to make everything private, we tried to make everything public? What if everything was okay? And what if the wise among us simply instructed us with strong suggestion to choose the right thing? Yet when someone does the wrong thing, like, it's okay. It's forgiven immediately. What if we brought all that darkness of truth? Because the things we think and the things we do and the different pieces of ourselves and the pieces of ourselves that we hide from others. One of the reasons the light can't come bursting through humanity is because of the lack of forgiveness. And one of the reasons why there's a lack of forgiveness is because so much personal information, life, thoughts, both good and bad, the very best and the very worst parts of, like, the entire whirlwind. We each, I assume, certainly I do. I mean, it's the kind of the focus of my life, even though I deal with it very poorly. The whirlwind, that swirling of angels and demons within our life, is much related to the wonderful, beautiful, great things about ourselves. Even if they're wrong, just these notions that we don't express. And people also don't, myself included, give enough credence to better wrong ideas. Until the omega point. Until. A lot's up for grabs. Essentially, all of existence as we know it, just on a common level. With a little bit of imagination, it's very easy to see that, we're kind of you could say incomplete equation, but maybe a incomplete expression, or a series of incomplete expressions, that are trying to solve itself. And it matters deeply what we mean by solve. Solve for what? I'm mostly wrong. I don't say that enough. The whole reason why I feel like I should talk is because there's some, like, differential. There's some, like, if the average on the world is 10% wrong, like, I have a very, very small, like a 0.001% contribution of truth to make, so I'm still essentially 90% wrong, but it's like 89.999. Oh yeah, but what I was gonna say is that I think I left a couple hanging story threads, but what I was gonna say is, for the last few videos, I've talked about how I want to, like, voice these certain things, and I, like, around my friends, around the friends I grew up with. Now, for the last several years, I pretty much kind of don't have any friends because it's complicated, but It's not that I don't have people I'm friendly with or care about. It's just for both mental wellness, and when I say mental, I also mean the soul, which incorporates spirit. So when I say mental wellness and mental well-being, I incorporate that stuff too. But like both for mental wellness and because of a mental affliction, like I secluded myself, kind of, still go to work, still go to the store, but like on a social level, extracurricularly, I've pretty well closed myself off from people with the caveat that I watch a lot of YouTube, recently Spotify, search the internet a lot, so there's a lot of when I say alternative, I don't mean it in the contemporary branded sense that like alternative media sometimes. I mean, alternative media has exploded, so it can mean diametrically opposed things, but because of alternative or supplemental media, um, I, there's a lot of people who I consider, I mean, they're famous. They have 1 million subscribers, 10,000 subscribers, 20 million subscribers, whatever, who I consider like friends because I listen to them so much. So it fills that space, which is different than like a monk just meditating or someone reading the great works or going through Euclid's Elements or something like that. It's different. But there's also a benefit that those other types of being, like being able to search anything you want whenever you want, it's a different kind of study. And there's something there that can't, there's something to that quickness, that correlated quickness or that coalescent quickness that can't be gleaned from previous times, slower paced traditions. Though, I mean, they're necessary, important, still crucial, and all that, but. Oh, yeah, what I was gonna say, can't talk about anything even simple, is that, like, I've been trying to make these boom, ta, boom, ticker, womp, womp videos, and I noticed very much that I'm thinking of like this video going around the world, which it never would, but even if it did, right? Like I get so nervous and it's in my brain even if I don't realize it, and I can't get it out. Here's the example, and here's exactly what I mean by that. So I'm making these emphatic, I mean, it sounds all fucked up, I know it's not good, but I'm still gonna keep them anyway. But if I were talking to my friends in junior high and I'd just listened to a new album, from junior high up into my, 20s, 30s, I guess to a small extent today, but like, if we were talking about some video that's shredded, we'd be like, I mean, just real simple, but like, we'd be into it, the body would be, but it's like I'm not trying to make anything that sounds cool, and it doesn't sound cool, but if you're familiar with that type of thing, like when I make my shit voice, like, because you're familiar with vocalizing that way yourself, like you hear the whole fucking thing, you can hear the fucking, variations of the high pitches and the low notes, because you're familiar with that medium, you're familiar with that means of expression, you're familiar with the selections of tones and percussions and so on. Same with, bass or rap or any type of like beatboxing or whatever, but it's also like vocal air guitar. It's like beatboxing mixed with vocal air guitar, which which if focused on more could be really, 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 really fucking awesome. And, but anyway, I just noticed, because I watched my last videos a couple times, because I've spent the last couple days, I mean, not much, I've had other, like, real life shit that I haven't talked about on my mind. It's really fucking kicking my butt. But not to be too me, but I mean, I live through my perspective. I can't get away from me. I would if I could, You know what I mean. But yeah, it's just interesting that, like, I've been trying to make this boom, boom, ticka. But like in my mind, if I was in junior high trying to tell, I'm gonna try to do it if I was in junior high trying to tell my friends about this song I heard, because I heard it up here, But now I'm embarrassed for talking about it, and I'm embarrassed for thinking of my junior high friends, and I'm feeling lethargic thinking about them in their lives now and me in my life now. And to be honest, despite remembering those times, I don't look upon all of them well. And, even some of the good ones, now I look back upon and regret. And if there were a boy of that age before me who was engaging in such silliness, at least theoretically, probably not in person, because I'm pretty cowardly in person. But at least theoretically, I'd forgive that young man immediately and try to encourage him to do the right thing, as far as not being quite so wolf packish. You don't have to be a full-blown knucklehead, motorhead, jock, full-blown testosterone boys will be boys type of guy to have those type of regrets. You could be much more cerebral, quiet, and so on, and still fall prey. We all do. It's just that there's a pragmatic recognition that this fist-bumping world is not my place. So then you find the other place, and then a different type of dominance takes place, And it's not just that simple, and it's not all the normal, typical, like, men are just bad type of thing, because the same thing happens with women, alpha beta males, alpha beta women, and that's not even setting one against the other as one being better and one being worse. Take good or bad, alpha male good or bad, beta male good or I am exposing my male predominance by placing two males before women, which I did there without thinking, but I realized it as I was in the midst of it. But yeah, that's there. And here's one really important thing that needs to happen. We have to stop harshing on all the ways in which we're programmed incorrectly, because if you're Pavlov's dog and that you've been trained to salivate over the bell, you got two problems. You got to heal that hole in your fucking cheek, and you also have to heal the mechanism. If someone stops doing that experiment on you and you're Pavlov's dog, and some, PETA person comes in and says, no, we're saving Pavlov's dog. We're not ringing that bell as an experiment anymore. That don't mean bells stop ringing. Ah, the bird's back, baby. What time is it? 7:30. But anyway, yeah, that bell don't stop ringing. So even once you're aware, unless you're faking, it's just gonna come out anyway. But like, unless you're faking, But what we need, the thing about prejudice is it's uncool and it's untribal to be genuinely curious about another and to care about another, whether you agree with them, disagree with them, are curious and not sure, like the whole spectrum of approval or disapproval. But like no matter where you are on that spectrum of approval or disapproval, like a genuine heartfelt concern for some other so other you can't comprehend, some way of being, some language, some food, some cultural traditions, whatever. A genuine curiosity of that which is not you. And it even exists within the same, nation. So we don't need to replace the concept of quote unquote racism. It's merely, well, I shouldn't say that. The way it is expressed, what it is a curiosity in differences. And that curiosity is either ascribed to fear or some kind of benevolence or well-wishing. So what we need to do, we don't want to get rid of racism. We want to increase curiosity and compassion. Like, I'm not like you. I have preconceived notions about you, and it goes every which way. Not to say there haven't been those with the brunt, including women, which still doesn't get brought up enough. They are number one. They are the number one most kept down, except for hermaphrodites or intersex. Like, besides that, and that's a huge fucking deal. But so I don't want to just brush over it, but it deserves its own thing. It's something unique and ancient and special. Anyway, I'm just going to break that thread because I really only wanted to talk about how if I were with my buddies at school, the way I would have made this song that's in my head that I just want to get out so I can like maybe work on it and make it more real, because I think about it all the time. And it's not one of my normal songs, and it's not that like great or nothing, but like emphatically it's in my mind. And and it's called a song is silly, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star is more complex, but yet Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, very captivating. Everybody knows it, and there's something to that. Simple and unforgettable. There's something special about something simple and unforgettable. And considering, I think it was Mozart who wrote Twinkle Twinkle Little Star when he was like 4 years old, and I think it was a lot more, if I remember correctly, a lot more ornate or intricate or whatever, harmonious than just the version most of us normally think of, but even just that melody. So anyway, as we try to think about all these complex things with all these, and finding complex ways to talk about complex things, at least as an analogy, we can think of Mozart building all of and I'm not trying to set this, because people will be like, fuck Mozart, it's all about Bach. There's that school out there, and I'm not speaking to that right now. I just mean as a general metaphor that like all you could consider all of Mozart's complexity built on those little simple, it's like something so simple and so memorable. Pretty much, I shouldn't say, there'd be few very brief small tones that like such a large people in the world are familiar with. Do 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 do. But because of that, it's simple and it taps into something fundamental, like really, really like a priori, like in a sense, like the simplicity, beauty, memorability, somehow this kind of perfected, very, very, very little structure. This song, these musical notes, these tones, these melodies, these harmonies across time, like there's something so simple but yet so true about it that it pre-exists. In a sense, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star is so true that it almost pre-exists Mozart. Twinkle Twinkle Little Star is more famous than Mozart himself. If I got that right, I get most things wrong. But anyway, if I was in junior high, if I was in junior high and I was just like, oh man, there's this cool thing, I'm trying to summon it up, it's not working. I still pretty much feel like this, but like if I was in junior high telling my friends about this song, it would probably take me a couple tries. Plus, I'm getting distracted by that chill, pretty song of the bird, which is like one of the few things over the last few days that has kind of like made me feel a little bit, reminding me of who I want to be. I don't know if it's reminding me who I am. I might just be this, broken. I might just be this broken failure. I'm definitely that. But I'm hoping I'm not just that. But yeah, if I were in junior high and I would tell my friends about this song, or in high school or something, or in college, and just talking about like, oh yeah, this thing, blah blah blah, being like that about it, it would go. Alright, I gotta get it in my mind first. I'm almost there. Because I never say it, I always just think it, But once I start talking, it ruins what's going on here. So I gotta get it back. Then I can say it. It's weird. I know it's weird that this is important to me enough to record, but I can't explain it. Boom, 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 ta. Boom, 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 ta. Boom, 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 ta. I think that's more. Maybe that's just what's evolving out of what's there. It's like it sounds different in my head. Because I started out more the way it sounded in my head, and then I started going toward what I'd already made. But maybe that's just how it works. Maybe I'll never be able to like get back there and find it. Dzz, dzz, boom, 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 dzz, dzz, bam, 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 dzz, ta, dzz, boom, 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 dzz, ta, dzz, wah, 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 boom, ticka, ha, ticka, boom, 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 ticka, ha, ticka, boom, 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 boom. Yeah, still I keep going into where it's going and not where it was. That's closer.